Hello, welcome to your weekly astrology weather, your astrological update of the week. And since we're coming off of that intense Mars-Pluto square, it happened this morning, and it's just passing. It was Eastern time. It was at 9:11 in the morning was the exact transit time. But you can see Pluto up here in the upper right in the ninth house at 5 degrees 25, 5 degrees and 25 minutes. Mars at 5 degrees 39 minutes, and you can see it's already past that 25, right? So 39 is after that. Even though it's retrograde, it's moving very slow, but it's passing that. So tomorrow it will probably be, let's just look real quick at that. Yeah, tomorrow Mars is at 6 degrees, so it'll definitely be waning and feeling less intense. For me, I think the buildup of something like this is way more um, poignant and intense. Pardon the words there, but definitely it's just edgier and things popping out and arcing out because the energy is just, volatile. Then it's tense, so it's hard not to what, just say something like that or put some edge in your voice. And you're just kind of like trying to fight that urge, it just kind of bubbles up. So afterwards, it's just definitely over. You're like, oh God, and it's hard to get that edginess back in your voice because it's already passed. You're used to it, or it's done now. Even that's like kind of the damage is done, kind of. So anyway, that's good that that's passing. We're coming into an interesting week. I do want to point out an interesting void of course moon cycle. But before I get there, I just wanted to mention another thing today. We're, overlooking sometimes some of the good stuff with the warnings of things. Like, we got a storm approaching, and then it's hard to smell the roses blooming right then and there. It's like, Mom, I gotta run, and it's starting to rain, and I gotta get the laundry off the line and get the cat in, and whatever, and you don't smell those roses. So the roses are, we have a Sun trine Pluto today, so it's kind of dampening this energy. Thank goodness. So it's kind of I think as we were coming into the actual square, it's like this little a reminder of something else. The roses did come through. The smell all of a sudden is like, wow, what is that? So we have this nice trine. The sun, we got it in Gemini now, and then trines over to Pluto in Aquarius. So to me, it's a bit of an emphasis on handling power, on handling your own power, on how you use your power for the good, how you can, it's like, okay, we have to kind of crunch all of these terms. We've been talking about Pluto, and then in Aquarius, it's like power to the people, the masses, it's, group knowledge and things. But now where things are, the hive is stirred up more than ever. And then we have Mars. Let's just talk about that one second. Mars, in Taurus, it's not, its favorite place. It gets more bullheaded. It gets more, stock resistant. It's practical. It's determined. It's like a freight train. It's fixed. It's solid. And it's an intense energy. So if it's a square, it's like we have to do these things to make it work. It's like, again, think about building. Sometimes you can't build if you unless you have that square, unless you know where that corner is, and it has to be lined up. It has to be right. Do you want that concrete poured right? Do you want those walls connecting in the corners? Do you want leaks and everything? So that's what Saturn and squares are really all about. It's teaching us to do it right. And if we do it right, the squares aren't so intense. It's just, because you've done the right thing. So we have the trine in here blessing this little bit of an edginess. And see, they're also edgy planets too. So the squares, and being a fixed square would make the square more intense. It's like neither side is budging. Square, fixed squares are more intense. Mutable squares are less intense because they're fuzzier. It's harder to nail down. So that those are better. So this why this one is so intense. Plus the two malefics, Saturn, Pluto, Mars, those are all kind of intense characters. And they're having to be a little bit at odds. They got a little thing they got to discuss. So But that in a good way, it can begin putting, and then with the sun trining over to that, I think it's going to help people realize how to use their power, how to move more powerfully, with that energy of Mars, with that energy of the sun. We've got we've got those energies combining. So anyway, that's kind of been the as we've been moving from the Memorial Day from the 25th into the 26th, and now that is passing, and we're moving into something interesting now. We have a Libra moon, and I want to point this out because I don't talk a lot about the void of course moons, only maybe when they're problematic. And now is where they're kind of problematic or not, if you know about them. But let me just point out what that is. We can see the moon down here in Libra, right? It's 10 degrees Libra. Now let me just go hours. Well, let me point out what happens. Okay, so the moon is moving, right? So you can see the moon moving 20, it's 11, 12, blah, blah. But look at all the degrees of the planets. Just ignore the nodes and Chiron, but look at the degrees. Okay, so we have 1, 3, 5, 11, or like 9, 11, 19, and 23. 23 is the highest degree planet right now, right? See if we look around. See, I'm not going to look at Chiron because it's not a true planet, although we have that influence. The rule is kind of like using major planets, and it's usually the more the inner planets, but we're going to say the planets and we're going to say the Ptolemaic aspects. Those are the square, the trine, the conjunct, the sextile, opposition. So whenever the moon makes the last aspect to a planet is when it's off duty. Okay, it's done. The moon is going around and it's having conversations with all these planets. Like right here, it's like 13 degrees. It just got done talking to Saturn. And then, now it doesn't have to do anything till it hits 19 degrees, right? It's like it makes some kind of an aspect. All right, so moon is moving around, and then the moon will make its last aspect to Libra. Moon is in Libra. See, 19. Okay, we're looking at tomorrow, Wednesday. Okay, 20, 21, 22, 23. All right, and then it is making a square. Okay, that's just, it kind of doesn't matter what the aspect is. It's just, the moon, when it's talked to all the planets basically, and it's before it moves into the next sign, it's off of work. It's done. It's void of course. That's what that means. So it means it makes its last aspect. See here, it's 23 on this one. I'll show you another one. So 23, 23 now, the next the moon moves about 12 degrees in a day. 12, 24. So it's like 6 degrees, right, in a half a day, like 12 hours. So we can see in like 12 hours here, we're like 7:30 in the morning, tomorrow morning. Okay, so 7:30 tomorrow morning, the moon goes void, of course. It goes offline, it drifts, and it's in Libra. So it's it's basically, let me get one I wanted to have for you. Uh, where is it? Okay. Um, It's like drifting. It goes, okay, I already told you, it goes void at 7:30. It's like it's made its last aspect there. It's checked out. And it's like a cosmic in between. The moon isn't making any more big aspects before it changes signs. So it's off duty. Things feel floaty. Conversations stall. It's harder to get a clean yes or no. So in Libra, it's like that pause lands in the realm of relationships, harmony, choices. You might notice yourself people pleasing, over editing texts, or replaying a conversation in your head instead of just letting it breathe. This is a beautiful window to just step back, journal, maybe pull a few cards, or quietly tie up loose ends. So it's not the moment to force a big decision or have the talk that decides everything. And then later tomorrow night at 8:53 Eastern time, and you can adjust these to your time, and I'll put them in the description. So Wednesday night at 8:53 Eastern time, the moon moves into Scorpio and the vibe drops deeper then, okay? So then what's been polite or surface in Libra starts to show its emotional truth. So if you've been polite and being surface kind of, la la la, Now the emotional truth starts to come up. The Scorpio moon is great for shadow work. It's good for therapy, honest heart to hearts. If you don't point the finger and you say, "Hey, this is how I feel, and this is what I want to discuss with you," whatever. It's good for ritual or any choices you want to make from your gut, not from your head. So tomorrow morning we have that if the moon moves, the what did I say, like almost 8 in the morning. It's done. So it's gonna be a floaty day. Okay. So it's not a good time to get to sign anything, to make decisions, to go ahead, to push forward. Wait till like 9 o'clock that night or the next day because things when you do that when the moon is void, it kind of tends to fizzle out. It tends to just not catch. So anyway, float with the Libra void. Don't push it. And when the moon moves into Scorpio, that's your moment to go deeper and be real. So what else I want to tell you about that? Um, let's see. Oh yeah, okay. So like the Libra void, of course, is like a liminal airspace around relationships. It's choices, it's harmony. Things feel a bit drifty, conversations might not stick. It's better for reflecting, journaling, or tying up loose ends than for big decisions. So again, when it moves into Scorpio, the energy drops into depth, honesty, and transformations. That's great. Again, for your shadow work, real talk, any decisions that need emotional truth behind them. All right, so that is a big I think it's a big void, of course, moon here. And what else I want to tell you about that? That's pretty much it. Okay, so I just want to show you another one because we have that one. Okay, so you can watch it like, so here we are. So let me just hours. See, the moon is now 23, or there's 24, 25. So there it goes. It's not making any there. Was it okay? It was a little earlier, but it was like half an hour earlier because I have it by the hour. But anyway, now it's 0 degrees and it's going to start making aspect there to Uranus. So it'll be an inconjunct over there. So that's like going to kind of be irritating when it comes back online. First thing, it's going to be like, "Hey, how have you been? Where are you? Did you do your shadow work?" And it's like, "Whoa, whoa, dude, chill." So it might be a little abrupt on that night. It's good that it's happening at least East Coast at that time. It's like time to go to bed. But if you're West Coast, it's 6:30, and then going the other way. You still got the evening. So if you're Central Time and going west, it could be an iffy time as it switches into Scorpio there. All right, let's switch this to days and okay, so there's that one. And then we have Thursday then. Okay, so this is an interesting like cycle that we're getting. Let me just finish on the void of course moon. So the next one will be opposite because it's every 2.5 days, the moon changes signs. So it's kind of easy to think about this way. Okay, so there's the one that we're going to have on Wednesday is going to be all day. And then the next one that we're going to have will be Friday night. It's void, of course, at 8 in the evening, and then it goes all night, and then it goes into the next sign in the morning, and it moves into Sagittarius on Saturday morning. So that one's different, but then the next one, it switches back to the day. See, they have to go every 2.5 days. So we have that every other moon sign for a little while. We're going to have a long time of a void moon phase. And the one factor that will change that is where did it go? There it is. Jupiter. Okay, so Jupiter is the latest degree sign. It's at 23 degrees and it will it's going to meet up with Gemini, I think at like 28 degrees, June 9th. So as we move toward like June 9th, that's like 28 degrees, and then it moves into Leo like later. I don't know. We'll get there. But anyway, it's like right around the middle of June, that time window will be getting shorter and shorter. See, as we get that degree will be getting later and later, it will spread out. So we won't have that whole 12-hour span. I know it's a little geeky, but it's an interesting phenomena. Okay, I think if you can get it. If not, you can listen back. All right, so that's going to be in effect, and I'll let you know those each week, and I'll put them in because we're going to have several for the next few weeks that are long periods of time. Again, I don't usually talk about them because they're so fleeting. It may be an hour or something, and it's like, well, oh, if you're really worried about signing, then check it out ahead of time and make sure you're not going to sign right in that time or whatever. But these are long, and then it's like it's hard to sometimes plan. But if we know that for the next several weeks, it might be just good to be heads up about that. So these times are drifty and offline, maybe offline emotionally. See, in the next one, we go from the moon will be in Sagittarius, all kind of giddy and goofy, and then it kind of goes off. So it may be get more remorseful, and then it goes into serious Capricorn. But anyway, that's the vibe. It's like a real different type of a thing, and they're long. Okay. That's big. So that was a big deal this week. And then let's see, we talked about tomorrow. And then the moon, it's like it makes a ton of aspects um all day, and then then it makes nothing. See, it goes, the moon will do all its business, it's in those early degrees because everything is going from, when it changes signs, it makes something to Uranus at 1, and then at 7, gets the moon and Mars, it'll make aspects to them, or I forgot Neptune at 4. Then it's like 4, and then 5, and then 7. So you can see that it's like ding, 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 ding as it goes along. And interesting, the moon on Thursday, it's going to be in conjunct, or that semi, that 150 degrees, that angle that you don't see each other. So moon is going to be an in conjunct there to Uranus, Neptune, the Sun, and Saturn. So almost all the outer planets, Uranus and Neptune, Sun and Saturn. So it's just like the sun and moon in conjunct, so it's like your ego and your moods will kind of be conflicted. It may be a bit burdensome with some responsibilities, something you don't want to do or don't want to have to do with Saturn because it's in conjunct. Maybe you're confused about it or don't have quite the all the information because Neptune is in conjunct, and then Uranus, something that it might have come up quickly or something surprised you or something like that. So it could be a bunch of that. And then it's going to be opposing Mars. So I think that's going to be like, whoa, wait, I got to change my mind or slow the energy down. What kind of a thing? But interesting, we have a couple, it is going to be squaring Pluto, but within all that, it's going to be trining Venus. So it might be something that you want within a whole bunch of turmoil. It's kind of hard to say how it's going to turn out again for everybody, but the moon again is in conflict with a lot of planets. The only one it's not in conflict with is the benefic Venus. So that's kind of like something you really want. It's like you're gonna have to maybe work through a bunch of shit about something. And Venus will square Saturn that day. So it's not only, so the moon is gonna trine Venus, but Venus is gonna square over to Saturn. And moon is gonna in conjunct over to Saturn. So it's gonna be a mixed bag on Thursday with things. Yeah, so the moon, I'm sorry, the Venus squaring Saturn again, that might be again a tough love, or you have to um, go the extra mile, or see if it's really worth it, or deal with difference in responsibility, age, maturity. Just trying to think of Venus and Saturn, and then the square there. So those kind of issues might come up about things, and then definitely if it's at something in your chart that's at same degree. Faux show, faux show. All right, what else here? Then Friday we get another void, of course, moon, but this one's at night. This one will be 8. Let me go back hours. Okay, see, moon's 24, right? We're gonna look for what's is it still Jupiter at 23? Like 2 hours? Yeah, like 8:30. It was like 8:05 actually. I might go the seconds. But anyway, so you think about 8 o'clock, um, Friday night, East Coast time. It goes void there. It's so it's going, I'm sorry, did I say, I think I misspoke the other minute. So it's going void from Scorpio. So it's going out of the Scorpio, and then it'll go into the Sag on this one. Maybe I didn't say it. But anyway, it'll fuzz out now. So say you wanted to go deep, or say you wanted to do some kind of transformation or do something, it's not going to hold. It's not going to work. It's like if you set up a time to talk to somebody about something deep after 8:30, or if you're going west, the time zones, anyway. Yeah, 8:30. That's still evening time. Friday night you might be out. It's like, don't go into the deep stuff. It's gonna be fuzzy. Um, it's not gonna catch. Wait till it goes into Sag. The moon goes into Sag the next day, and it will be much livelier, happier. The end of a Scorpio moon, if it's not catching on anything, is pretty. It's kind of strange. Let's put it that way. It could be subject to some oddities, so it's just best to kind of avoid that. I mean, Scorpio, you got deep stuff, you got under the surface, you got clinging, you've got obsession, depth. It's like you don't want to change the subject. Like, yes, I want to change the subject. No, we must talk about this. So anyway, all that kind of, heavy stuff. It's like, eh. Yeah, and then it's like, all right, we've already talked about this. It's going nowhere. Why do we keep talking about it? That kind of stuff. I want to get past that. All right, so then we move on to Saturday. That'll be done in the morning. It's like 8 in the morning. It's actually 8:45, and then it's pretty much, and then it'll be into Sag. Um, a little earlier. Yep. Um, anyway, Moon goes into Sag. Then it'll be much happier. All right. That's all on that day. Then we're coming into the full moon on the just yeah late on the 31st. You can see there it's like 5 degrees and it's got to oppose too much hours. It's going to oppose the sun like 9 degrees. There it is, pretty much. Okay, so full moon. It's the second full moon of the month. It's reflecting the light of the sun, and that is our blue moon. Once in a blue moon, it's just because the moon is every like 29 and a half days, right? So unless it's like the first one falls like on the first or the second, if you have a 31-day month, then it doesn't do it, and it'll move it the other way. So we got an interesting little kind of time bubble, I mean, the way that the time is wrapping around with the void of course moon and then with the blue moon this month. So new full moon, finishing up things, um, finishing the cycle, putting things now that that we've been working on. Now time to refine and go over that, time to, just work some of that out. um, Kind of I think it'd be sort of a festive moon. I think once it gets, through the Scorpio weirdness on that void there, and then it's a little bit more lively. It feels good. I like Sag moons, but actually one of my favorite moon times. Just makes people feel good. I mean, it's a fun moon, I think. Things are pretty serious. Okay, so the moon, I have it at like 4:44 or 4:45 in the morning. This is not picking it up right. Anyway, um, blue moon, Sunday, early in the morning. Should be bright, 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 bright. Okay, so in the morning then, okay, then it makes the moon. All right. And then what else do we have going on? Moon and let's just finish its little thing because it makes another void. See, Jupiter is at 24. See, it's going a little less now. Okay, so 24, like 9:30 in the morning. Um, so then this is another one. This will be Monday. Okay, then we'll be back on Tuesday, but all day. Okay, Monday. It'll be from here. It's like it's done its aspect. So it'll be drifting in Sag. So this is kind of like this could be like chasing your dream, drifting in Sag. Oh no. Um, it's the shiny object syndrome. It's the grass is greener gone wild. It's oh, it will be better. It's the look on the bright side, and there is no bright side. It's like you just broke my vase. What do you mean? It's a precious vase my grandmother gave me. That kind of stuff. So anyway, that's that, and I think I gonna say? Okay, so yeah, we got that drifty, crazy, weird, grass is greener, shiny object syndrome, hopium, yeah, filled with hopium. Easy to be fooled on this one, so be careful on this all day Monday. And again, it's a long time, and it's gonna go. It won't. Let's see, when does it move into Capricorn? I don't have till the evening. I mean, till the morning. Dit, dit. Oops, what am I? There it goes. Yep, yep. Keep going. There it was. All right. Right around there. Okay, 9:30 in the morning. Moves into Capricorn. So, um, could be testy. Could be testy. I mean, at night moves into Capricorn. Um, let's go to bed then. Then now it's back online. So yeah, these are long stints. Again, if you want something, I don't know if I said this, if you want something to fuzz out, then you make plans during that time. It's like, or you try to make a connection. It's like, oh yeah, checks in the mail. You're right. Buy yourself a little time. Yeah, whatever. So anyway, just note that and note that things will stick. And then if you don't want something to stick, that's a time that might be able to back out of something. All right. I think that is it for this week. And that's it. All right. Have a good week. Watch those phases of times, and I will put them in the video description. All right. Have a good week. Bye for now.